Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're turning and burning here, cranking things off this list, getting this car done, and you know, I'm antsy to drive this thing again. I'm antsy to get it fired up and see how the changes work and get my AC done. So I left you guys off with the intercooler being done, the radiator being done. I have to mount both these. Now I stared at this car for probably a solid 4 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a series of mounts for the intercooler to bolt to the front bumper support. That one tube has got the 4 bolts. So this I made is going to bolt in like that. This is going to bolt to the backside, and this is going to be welded to the intercooler. So all said and done, this is what it's going to look like. I wasn't too 100% sure on how this was going to turn out. Still not, you know, but it's all 125 aluminum. And we're going to see how strong it's going to be. I'm going to put a gusset in here and in here between the bolt hose. What I'm also going to do is I made some doublers here. And what I'm going to take is take this, slide this up and in here. You know, it fits clean through. I'm going to weld it like that, and then I'm going to weld this whole piece to the intercooler. So hopefully, you know, because it's not just going to sit on top like that, and pray the weld holds. I'm going to actually, I don't know if this is going to do anything, but I feel like it's going to add a little bit more strength to my weld, and that's going to be like that. And I'm going to weld this whole thing to the intercooler. And then drill holes, bolt this thing up, and the intercooler's mounted. I made 2. Now guys, I don't have any fancy equipment to bend this stuff. I don't. What I did was I cut this thing out with my wood saw. I have it all set up. You know, I'm using this saw right here with just a normal blade, a circular saw. You can see I just got it clamped down to the vise. I clamp it into the vise. I use 2 pieces of metal. You can see all the dimples on there to hang it so you don't mess it up. We're going to weld these all together. I just had a touchdown, as you can see, so I got to clean that all up and come back when I'm all done. All right, I got one side almost done. You can see I welded that whole plate to the core. That's bolted to the frame, and that's bolted there. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a triangle gusset in here, and same on this side. I'm going to try just for strength. So I'm working on this side now, and I messed up just a little itty bit on this side. I think, where are my bolts? I think what happened was, obviously I took the same templates and flipped them. I don't think I flipped this one. Looking at that side, the bar's definitely, sorry, I'm holding it. The bar's lower. No big deal. It's not the end of the world. The only difference is, I'll show you, which I don't know if it's going to piss me off, and I'm going to end up remaking it. But you can see how the plate's on the backside there. To do this one, I'm going to have to loop it around to that side to get this to be right. No big deal, but it is kind of annoying. So I'm going to get this bolted on. I'm going to get this lined up. I still got to drill the 2 holes through here and there. I just realized I didn't drill those, so now I got to go drill those first. And we'll weld this to the core. We'll build some gussets. I probably weld this gusset on here first before I weld it to the core like this one. So that should be quite fun to do. I don't really think that much, huh? So, but I'm like, oh, it's way high. I'm liking it though. We'll find out here in a couple of minutes if it's gonna work. All right, the intercooler is done and it's mounted. I'll show you that in a minute. Right now I'm welding bungs to the radiator for mounting of that. This is one of the rods from mcamis. Hopefully it clears my little AC thing, or else I'll have to space that out just a touch. But got one bung on, get the second one on. Both bungs mounted on there. Just gotta do the two on the other side. I'll wait for that to cool for a minute. I gotta find some short quarter 20 bolts. I cut the bungs in half to suck them in. They come pretty long. I literally cut them in half. Well, there they are. So that's the length that they come, and I just quickly cut that down to save some space. I burnt my finger in the process. It hurts like hell. Oh, it's nice not seeing floor jacks holding it up. Oh, it's all welded, gusseted, fucked up and welded the wrong side, but it's all right. This gave me hell welding that gusset. I couldn't gusset this one, but gusseted here. It's sturdy. Here's the only thing. You see that little bit of movement? I'm going to check it once I get the tubes on both sides. If this doesn't change, I'll just run a small mount from here to here just to keep that back and forth movement. But I think once the tubes are on there, it'll be all right. But it's nice to have that big ass 6-inch East Race Parts cooler all mounted up and done. Thank God, that was such a nightmare. And there's the other radiator thing. All right. Don't worry about my crazy hair. I'm going to finish welding bungs onto this. I gotta see if I even have short quarter 20 bolts. If not, I gotta run out to the hardware store. I'm gonna get that all welded up, those mounted on, and then I could set it on the bar, mark the bar, drill the bar, weld in the other pieces I showed you, and then set the final height of that. I'm not sure how low I want to go. I think I might move the AC condenser up another ½ an inch to drop it down. So I'm not going to set the height on it until I start mocking up and seeing what's going to happen. But we'll come back to that in a second. We are in the middle of the giant snowstorm of 2021, so I got the day off from work. And we're going to get this radiator mounted up today, hopefully. I already got one mount on. You see it here. It's welded. The bungs are welded to the side. And the second one is about ready to go. I got the, let's see. I got the bungs cut down, like I showed you. Some quarter 20 bolts. All right. Clean that up. It's tightened down, so we just got to figure out our height. You know, our Y and X axis, so we can weld this one on this side. Weld those on. And figure out where in the car to place this. Once I weld the tubes into the lower radiator support, slide this big boy down, and she is good to go. We're moving right along with it, so that's a good thing. And once this is in the don't break any cups here. Once this is in the car, we can start making the hoses, which I have everything for. There's no need to order anything. I have plenty of fittings. I think I talked about that. I have plenty of fittings and plenty of hose. I would like to one day go to like a higher end hose that's better rated for the heat, but like that stuff is just big money, and I don't have $500 right now to make radiator hoses. Simple as that. Now, we're going to measure this up. We're going to get this welded up. And then we'll place it in the car and we'll come back then. Now, this is my lower radiator support bar right here. I went over there and fit the radiator already. Things are getting tight in that engine bay. But I tacked on those tubes I was showing you that come with the kit, and the radiator slides in and out. So what we're going to do is finish grinding this paint off around here. I'm going to fully weld this all the way around, support, and it's going to go back in the car, and then we'll set our height. This is the bars at the lowest set. The AC condenser is sitting right on this. So I literally just want to raise it up 1/8 of an inch, just so the condenser is not sitting on this bar, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, somewhere around there. Things are getting tight. I mean, this big turbo, it's close. I'm gonna have to redo the one charge pipe, which I really didn't want to do, but now that the radiator's dropped down, it's interfering with a coolant hose. And all I kept thinking is, this is the exact reason why I did a rear mount last time. And it's gonna be so much more cluttered, but hopefully it'll still look good. Now let's finish grinding this off and weld it all up, and we'll go back to getting it into the car. We'll see how this radiator fits in here. It's tight. I mean, it's a big setup right now, so time will tell. I'm gonna get everything in there. It's just gonna be tight. Let me go clean this up. All right, now that it's all blown apart, I can show you what's going on here. Welded these tubes on, right, all the way around. But what you're technically supposed to do is you're supposed to cut this tube right here, right, about yay high. So it sits right on the top of the weld that's on the inside. But I want more support than that. So what I did is I left it long, and all I did was just drill this out with the weld, you know, drill that out and give this a little cleanup, and that slides all the way in. You're supposed to put a pin in here, and I don't have my good drill bits here to try to do this. I should have done this before I welded it, because then I could have chalked it up in the drill, yeah, that thing over there. And these are the stops I was telling you about, right? So you just weld those to the height you want. That's it. Good to go. And now I can bolt these back to the radiator, put the lower support back in the car, because somehow I don't have any primer. And this project is done. I'm excited. So I'll get this all in and we'll look at the final outcome. All right, there it is. It's all mounted up. I'm quickly running out of space. But you know what? I got a 6-inch intercooler core in here, an AC condenser, and a pretty good sized radiator with a big ass fan all tucked in this front end, and it clears everything. I mean, I don't know if it clears stock bumper stuff, but it clears my setup. Yeah, she's in there mounted good. I already started making the coolant hoses for it. You know, those are all set, ready to go. I'm a little closer to the turbo than I wanted, but I'm okay with it. I started to make my first charge pipe. I hate pie cuts as much as I do, but it does make life easier when it comes to a lot of things. We are getting this completed. I actually have to redo that because I got to clamp this to do it. We got to finish welding out the hot side, but we're moving along. Was able to create a punch list because I'm getting down to the things here. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. The front end's a lot more crowded than it was last year, but it still, all in all, doesn't look too bad. Plus, we're not done. These are going to get VHT ceramic coated black with the hot side. When I get some spare coin, I'm changing these out, and they'll be polished. I'm not a big fan of the Holley valve covers. I just don't like them. What are we? February 2nd. I made a ton of progress. I ain't even mad about where I am. I want it done, but I'm not mad right now. We're doing good here. Keep on this streak of knocking things off the list, and we'll be ready. I need to get it all done, get stuff to polish, get this car to paint, and be ready for the spring. So guys, get in your garage, crack a cold beer, and working on your hot rod. Have a good night.